Clippity clip. Clippity clip. What up, Clipper Nation? Welcome back to Clippity Clip Podcast, where we dive into all things Clippers. I am your host, Z to the O, Zoom Moto Rain. Now let's set sails to last night's game against the Toronto Raptors. Was nothing but short of intense. It was a close, and that was kept us all on the edge of our seats, but our Clippers came out on top with a W, 105-103 win. Let's get into the highs, the lows, and everything in between the tides from the showdown, shall we? Let's start with the big picture. It was a back and forth battle, and the score stayed tight for the most of the game. Clippers managed to hold off the Raptors' late game push to secure the victory. This game brought us clutch plays, standout performances, and a lot of learning points. Now let's look at who stepped up for the Clippers. First and foremost, let's talk about James Harden. Harden had a night dropping 24 points, grabbing 12 rebounds, and dishing out 7 assists. He was our floor general, showing up big when we needed him, especially at the second half. This was Harden we love to see, controlled, confident, and consistent. His leadership out there was essential. Another great night for Norman Powell coming off the bench. He added 24 points to the board with great efficiency. Powell's energy was crucial, especially when the offense started to lag. His performance kept us competitive during those tough moments and gave us the edge we needed to maintain the lead. One of the most promising parts of this game was our defense effort in the fourth quarter. We saw some great rotation, tight coverage, and forced the Raptors into some difficulty shots. When they were trying to close the gap, the defense really came through when it counted, and that was the essential of the 2-point victory. But hey, it wasn't all that perfect. Our 3-point shooting definitely struggled, which made this game much closer than it needed to. We were missing shots we usually make, and it felt like the team was settling for too many outside shots instead of attacking the paint. Turnovers were also an issue. A few too many careless passes, miscommunication led to extra possessions for Toronto. These little mistakes nearly cost us, and it's something we need to clean up if we want to dominate stronger opponents. But overall, a win is a win nonetheless. There's a lot of exciting things about this. Harden looks comfortable and effective. Hopefully it keeps going on like this for the rest of the season. As for Norman, he just continues to be the reliable scorer that we need to be in the absence of Kawhi Leonard. The team is showing some flashes here and there with the chemistry on the offense side. Defensively, they have been like that since Ty Lue took over, so everything is there. It just needs to be tightened up a little bit with the ball handling and the right decisions of making a good shot from a bad shot. Offensive needs to be consistently. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Now, it's time for the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. Alright, so let's just start with the good. James Harden, with the 24 points, the 12 rebounds, the 7 assists, he's getting his old James Harden back. Basically, he's looking like the James Harden that was with the Rockets. It's showing up. It's pretty much coming back. He needs to be the leader of the team in the absence of Kawhi Leonard. He has to show he is a veteran. He's been through the Western Conference Finals. He knows how to get there. He has to show that in and out every day, every night, in practice, while eating breakfast, all the way to dinner, whatever he is doing, he has to show leadership to the Clippers that we could go all the way. Case in point, he has to be the leader. That's it. He's done everything that he could do. He knocked down the key point shots. He done his assist. We want to see him as the leadership that he was with the Rockets. We need him like that with the Clippers. As for Stormin Norman Powell, if you look at his careers when he was a rookie from the Raptors all the way up till now, he could score. He is a menace. He is a guy that loves to penetrate. He could get in your face and he will score 20. If you let him, he'll probably score 40 points. He came out with 24, a couple of rebounds, couple assists. Guy was on fire. And we need a guy like him to keep on going. We have to get him going. Otherwise, we're gonna have a really bad season. Zubac has 12 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists. He's starting to be a good, solid center. I noticed he lost a weight from when he actually came in a rookie. That he was a really buffy guy. Now he lost a ton of weight. He's moving fast. He's getting there. He needs to dominate the paint more. He really needs to dominate the paint more. He needs to outbeat the little guys. He has to be dominant down there. He has to play the bully ball. I could see him playing bully ball. He could actually match up good with Giannis and them. He could do it. Guy could play. Kevin Porter Jr., 15 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Another guy that I'm excited to be about that could help. Hopefully it keeps improving. I could see that he's going to have a future in the league just as long as he could improve. The defense, we talk about the defense all the time. I think everybody has talked about the Clippers defense. You could talk about the Clippers defense from last year, or 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Even when Doc Rivers was there, it's always the number one defense. I'm sick and tired of defense. To be quite honest, I am sick and tired of it. Yes, defense is important, but the harsh reality, this is basketball, and nobody cares for the defense. You could watch the All-Star game and nobody plays defense. That's the harsh truth. Yes, defense is one thing, but without the defense, there's no offense. But if you have too much defense, there's no offense. It's almost similar to the Chicago Bears. Great defense, horrible offense. So we need to change that. We have to change that. That cultural mind needs to be changed a little bit to let's try to make more buckets in and don't worry too much about the defensive end as much. Yes, cover your man as much as possible. Grab the rebound, grab the loose balls, the simple little things. But in the end of the day, you have to make points. That's the whole point of the game. Gotta make points. So they did a tremendous accomplishment of holding the Toronto Raptors. And keep in mind, this is not a Toronto Raptors that has superstars and could beat a bunch of teams. This team is probably developing. They're very young. There's going to be a lot of growing pains for them, but at the end of the day, they're going to be an exciting team in the future. Now, the bad. Well, we got the win. No win is perfect. Let me just say that. All right. Our problem, and I always say this, is the bad decisions of 3-point. If you have an open lane and nobody's going to go to the open lane, approach the open lane. Forget the 3, go in for the 2, get hit, go and get your free throw. There's your 3-point play. If they don't count it, make sure that the ball goes inside the bucket. That's it. And stop your whining and keep playing. That's all you have to do. The 3-point is an issue. It's becoming an issue. I'm sick and tired of these statistics that this certain percentage, this percentage, that percentage. Let's just play basketball. Forget the analytical parts and the percentages. Let's just play basketball. That's it. Let's play basketball. If you're open and if you're confident to shoot the 3, shoot the three. If you're not confident, go into the paint, get hit, get the foul, show them that you're getting fouled. And if it doesn't show, the league ought to suspend the referees. There should be rules. There should be rules for these careless refs for not making calls when they know that they're getting hit. Because one, you gotta protect the players. It's not protect the superstars. Protect all players. If you're gonna get fouled, call it. You see it, and all the refs are looking. Call it. That's it. Otherwise, you're showing us that the game is rigged, and we cannot have that. We cannot have that sort of style. He went in there, you have to call him. That's it. Other than that, play the game, And if it was a hard hit foul and you don't call it, then retaliation must strike back. And if it doesn't, then a retaliation to the refs should be appointed to. And a lot of people will not agree with me, but it should be so they could learn their lessons of, hey, you're here to do a job. Make the calls. That's it. Make the calls. It's that simple, Fine them or suspend them if they're not making the calls. Because protecting the players of getting hit from injuries and everything else, those plays should be called. That's it. If it was stripped and you can't see that it was a foul, that's fine. But if it's got hits, like literally a big hit, yeah, call it. That's it. It's just plain and simple. Plain simple basketball. That's it. But once again, our issue is that 3-point line. We do not need to shoot threes if you're winning by 10 points, winning by 20 points, winning by 30 points. You do not need to keep shooting threes. Simple layups are easy. That's it. Or just a mid-range jump shot. Plain and simple. That's all you need to do. Anything closer besides the 3-point line, that is the issues with the Clippers. It always has been. It has been these past few games, even with the wins that they won lately. It's an issue. It's a big issue. It's not only the Clippers, but the rest of the league with this 3-point nonsense. Stephen Curry could do it. That's fine and dandy. Klay Thompson could do it. That's fine and dandy. But not everybody could do it. Not everybody's going to make these analytical decisions. The 3-point, because it's just one more point. Basketball is basketball. Just play the game. It's just that simple. Nothing more and nothing less. We already seen it from these. What is it? This is the 7 games, 6 games, 9 games, or whatever. It's already 9 games in of the season, and the Clippers have a lot of turnovers. But if you look at the league, almost everyone at least had a few turnovers here and there. But yes, Clippers have problems with handling the ball. It has been for a while. It has been since Chris Paul hasn't been around. So it's been there. It's been an issue. It always has been an issue. Last year was about Paul George constantly turning the ball over. This time, yes, I have to blame James Harden, because half of the times that I watch the game, James Harden carelessly misses it. The ball handling. Every once in a while, you catch Norman Powell, Terrence Mann, and so on and so forth. This ball handling, I don't know what's going on in practice, but y'all have to get that into your hand to stop losing the ball, stop throwing careless passes, start making more communication. You're giving extra chances to the Toronto Raptors. It's not just the Toronto Raptors, it's everybody in the league, each and every time. Those are the key things that you guys got to keep practicing and practicing. So here comes on the minutes wasted into this basketball game, okay? I'm going to start off with the veteran Nicholas Batum. When I say minutes wasted into the basket ratio, is your time on the court, what are you doing with the ball? There's a lot of things that's happening with a group man sport. You touch the ball at least one time, if you're on the court. Hopefully you touch the ball at least one time, which in a lot of cases you probably won't. But you're pretty much wasting the valuable minutes to a player that could actually score. Even though that person needs to take a breather, and it's very understandably so, rest is needed, so they can play the second quarter, the third quarter, and so on and so forth. And one of my key issues with that would be Zubac. He plays way too many minutes, way too much late in the game, and I would like to see more Kai Jones. And Kai Jones needs more confidence to play. And one of those things that I'm not a fan of, Ty Lue, with younger players, is that he doesn't trust them. And that's the same mentality of Doc Rivers. It's one of the things that I do not like as a coach. I'd rather see a younger coach that will get rid of the veterans and have the younger kids play, because the younger kids are more hungrier. They're the ones who actually want to win a championship. You'll see it in other sports that the younger guys want to win a championship. That's the whole idea of becoming a professional sports, to win the big chip and get prizes and so on and so forth. So Nicolas Batum had 7 points in 17 minutes, and following Nicolas Batum, this guy used to score. He scorched the Clippers when he was in Portland. He was a monster back then. Obviously as you age and so on, you get a different role and you gotta do certain little things, but you could still do your thing. One of the things that I don't like, or what happened on the decline of Batum when he went to Charlotte, and of course the uncomfortableness in Charlotte for him, it could be from management all the way to the coaching staff or to design plays, and it just like the Nicolas Batum that was a threat in Portland is no longer there. And when he came to the Clippers, he got it back little by little. Obviously, he got traded off, or he signed with another team after a year. I can't really remember. So, but of course, age does bring in a factor to some, and I'm not gonna, besides LeBron James, age does factor in, and it does weigh in on these guys. Him, Harden, Leonard with his injury-prone knee injuries. Even LeBron, it shows. It will show in the long run. It will show. So this is the point that if you're a big dude, and I've seen it numerous of times with him, he could be wide open and nobody's guarding him, and I kind of miss his penetration, because that was the beast of him when he was younger. This big tall dude that could fake a three and go right into the rim and stuff it, and he could still do that. It's like he just lost confidence, that's all. And those minutes that he wasted for just 7 points, you ought to give it to a younger dude, that could do it. That's how I look at it. So that's what I'm talking about, the minutes wasted for the into the basket ratio. That's what I mean. But that's what I'm trying to say, that those are minutes wasted. And of course, again, most likely this is because of defensive purposes, so he's not pretty much there for the points, but just for defensive purposes. And I get that and all, but like I said, what's the point of a defense if you're not making any points? You can't rely so much on Storm and Norman and James Harden to keep on coming up with points, and Zubac. You just can't keep relying on them all the time, because eventually they're going to get burned out. Now, Kai Jones, like I said, no, he has a goose egg on the game, just 4 minutes, which that was just a waste of time. It's just, just give 4 minutes to Zubac, so, just stay here for 4 minutes until Zubac, could energize and get back in. That is unacceptable. That's where injuries will happen. This is a big man everyone knows about big men. The knees starts messing up at a certain time, the joints and all this. We all know about that. From ankle and up, for big guys, it gets weary being out there playing ball, jumping up and down, jumping up and down. You know, these 7 foot guys get hurt much more worse than the little ones. You know, than the 6'1s and the 5'11s all the way to 6'6 or 6'7. You know, these guys get hurt. So you do need to give more more minutes to Kai Jones, and you have to feed him the ball. You got to give him confidence so he could actually, you know, do what he can. You know, as much as people are going to say, oh, but we're giving him chances, I look at it, no, you're not. You're not really giving him. In the preseason, yeah, there's plenty of time. It looks good on preseason, but this is the actual season, and he has to show up. That's it. There's no excuse about it. You know, now, as for Kevin Dunn and Amir Coffey, the combination is 43 minutes, all right? The combination of Kevin Dunn and Amir Coffey is a combination of 43 minutes for only 13 points, 4 rebounds. 13 points, 4 rebounds in 43 minutes. Now, that's unacceptable, period. I don't care about, like I said, defense doesn't matter to me. You know, you're there to guard a guy. You should know how to guard your man. You should know how to do the rotations. You should know how to move around. That's it. You don't need to talk about what a great defense it is and that. You know, it doesn't matter. Everyone could do that. Every other team could do that. You know, you could hold off a team for 107 points, that's fine and dandy. Go try holding a team for 87 points. Now that's spectacular, okay? But on the offensive side of it, and the rebounds, whether if it's offense rebounds or defensive rebounds, 4 rebounds is pretty much unacceptable. You know, in 43 minutes. 43 minutes, the combination of these two, you should at least get, you know, 7 rebounds each, you know, or at least the combination of them to have a total of 7, okay? And 13 points and the combination of those two guys, yeah, it's totally unacceptable. You know, I would be expecting more from Coffey than Dunn. You know, even though Dunn has done good in the previous games, and Coffey as well, but you know, when these games like this against a team like the Raptors or the team of Detroit or the team that we lost to by 1 point, the Portland Trail Blazers, you guys gotta show up. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Now, finally, the downright ugly. I say the ugliest part of the game, you know, it was our offense. You know, the final stretch of the fourth quarter, we let the Raptors claw their way back into the game and nearly lost our grip on it. There were a few possessions where we settled for tough shots and forced the ball into heavy coverage, leading into missed opportunities. Another ugly moment was the foul trouble, especially for the bigs. We already know about the bigs getting into foul trouble. That's we ended up foul troubles in the early of the fourth quarter. We all know that usually happens. It's not just on the Clippers. It happens to every team. You'll see it if you watch every team that you like. It usually happens. It's nothing new. It's going to be there. The question is, what is your coaching staff going to do to fix and solve I call it a small problem. It becomes a bigger problem down the stretch, more than the beginning. In the beginning, if you got a good lead or a decent lead, you know, it could be resolved. You know, it's down the stretch that becomes an issue. Especially like on the defensive end, we have to play cautious defense, simply foul trouble again. Of course, the art of basketball is sometimes it's by sheer luck. The Raptors probably missed shots, missed opportunities, and that's how the Clippers could maintain and hold the lead. But it's also a liability, and that has been for these past 9 games already. It is a liability. The closing part of the Clippers has become an issue. This is where I say that you do need Leonard back. You need another guy that could actually give you 30 points. You gotta get 2 guys that can make 20 and 1 dude that can make 30. But the rest of the team has to contribute. And so this is where I'm going to be very critical. Now, I'm going to start off with Derrick Jones Jr. He's played 19 minutes, but just 4 points on those 19 minutes. I'm not going to criticize him as much because if you watch him play this whole season, he made a lot of points in a decent amount of minutes. 10 points here. At one time he made 20 points. His far worst so far is with the Thunder, that he played 22 minutes and out of the 22 minutes he only had 2 points. And I get it. And once again, most likely for defensive purposes. And once again, I said it again. If we could do the defense, we need him on the offense. And that's what we gotta adjust. He could play, he could make shots, he could help the team. He is part of the future, just like Porter Jr. He is the future. These guys are going to be the future once Norman calls it a day, and Harden calls it a day, and Leonard calls it a day in the future. These guys are going to be the ones who's going to carry the torch. Okay, but the person that I really have a bone to pick with, I am beyond upset because I was a big fan of him. I was thinking that he's going to be the next superstar, and all he showed me that he is a bust. Just a bust, and that is Terrence Mann. Trust me, I have vouched for him in discussions. I have vouched for him in a lot of things, and I just can't vouch for him anymore. He's a good defensive kid. I need him on the offense, not on the defense. And he could be a guy that could lead on the he could be a James Harden. I imagine him to be the next James Harden because he had the flashy moves when he came in as a rookie. He had that great performance in the Western Conference that he made 20-something points at that time, and I thought he's about to shine, he's about to blow up. It never happened. It just dwindled, and it pisses me off because it's just downright ugly. It is definitely downright ugly. One of the things that bothers me is that he's a starter. He's not a bench. He's a starter. That's what bugs me the most. 29 minutes for 4 points. That's embarrassing. To be a starter, that's embarrassing. 21 minutes and a goose egg against the Nuggets. Even though that they won that game, a goose egg. That's unacceptable. I can't defend this guy anymore. I really can't. He is an actual liability on the court than off the court. He'd rather be. If he's on the bench, we're winning. If he's on court, we're losing. That's. I don't have the words to explain it. It's just a big liability. We need these guys. Because we don't have Leonard. We lost Paul George. There's no Russell Westbrook. We need him to step up. We need him on the offense side to step up. And if I'm in the front office, I would be worried that it'd be my last year in the office because I might get terminated, I might get fired. And I should be thinking that way because I gotta get rid of Terrence Mann, PJ Tucker that's wasting his precious life and whoever else that's not playing for the Clippers shift off to get players to play. Now, I'm not gonna say about this Jordan Miller kid. I think that's his name. I want to see him play. I saw him in the preseason, and I think he has I think he belongs in the league, and I want him to stay a Clipper because Clippers keep on messing things up. You know, every time that we have a diamond in the rough, we give it away. You know, or a guy that's a real tough defensive player that could actually make good offense, and we give him away. And it has happened time and time again. Missed opportunities, miss key players to push us to where we need to push us, and you know. Again, it's a pain in the butt to deal with that sort of thing. I just know the one kid that I feel sorry is Bones Highland. You know, so most likely he would be traded. PJ Tucker needs to be traded no matter which way around it, and Terrence Mann's got to be traded. That's how I'm looking at it right now. If Mann doesn't step up on the game against they're playing the Thunder. He has to step up on the Thunder. You know, that's like a must-win game for the Clippers. You have to beat the Thunder. At the end of the day, like I said, a win is a win. Harden is starting to be comfortable. Norman just continue to be the reliable scorer that we need. The defense is still showing the resilience, and that's what matters the most, of course. But we need more offense weapons, that's it. The defense is always going to be there. It has been there. It's not going to change. We really need offense, that's it. It doesn't matter if it came from Coffee, Dunn, Kai Jones, Porter Jr. We really gotta find another. I was hoping that would be Terrence Mann, but he's not going to be the next guy to help for the score. I mean, unless if someone talked to him about it that, hey, you got to start showing up, But we need another weapon. That's it. It's just until Leonard comes back, and even so, when Leonard comes back, at least we have 4 weapons, 4 or 5 good weapons. Another issue is the Zubac issue. I gotta see more Kai Jones in there. I got to see him having the ball. I need to see him to go in and penetrate, to play bully ball. He has to do the same thing as what Zubac is doing. This guy's a big young kid. He has a future. Zubac is doing his thing, but I am concerned about the minutes that he has to tone it down, simply because of health reasons. As you age, your body wears and tears, especially for taller men, or should I say taller players. So that's just a concerning of mine. Clippers are 6-4, 8th at the Western Conference. They'll face the Thunder. Hopefully it'll be 7-4. So all I could say is everything with the Clippers right now is fixable. It's early in the season. You can look at the standings. It's not like we're far from first place or 4th or 5th place. But it's still early. The Clippers can still win a few games to get there. It'd be much harder later. It'd be much more harder later. And I say this in the absence of Kawhi Leonard. If there's no Leonard for this whole season at all, if there is no Leonard, it will get difficult for the Clippers. It will be a tougher decision making in the front office, especially the front office, and I would be worried. I would be definitely worried if I was in the front office. All right, Clipper Nations, thanks for tuning in for Clippers Clippity Clip Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and stay updated on all things Clippers, and join me next time as we continue to follow the journey. Until then, keep the faith and keep cheering on. Let's go Clippers!